Rabbi say, say that Tfilas al Sheni Shel Pesach v'Sefiras HaOmer. This siman talks about the dinim of Sefiras HaOmer. Big special mitzvah. The Chodesh Iyar. We just had the Chodesh Iyar today. Chodesh Iyar is the only month that has this mitzvah every day. Every day you can do a special mitzvah Sefiras HaOmer.
By the way, Dalet Sivan is a very special day in the war. Because I was born in Dalet.
Ah, okay. That's special.
Right, very good.
Huh?
Beautiful.
Very
אומרים
nice.
גם אם מאוד בסיוון גשם זה סימנים טובים.
לא היה שמותי.
Mitzvah saseh min ha-Torah. It's a mitzvah saseh from the Torah. Sheyisper kol echem Yisrael. Every person should count Shiva Shavuos Yamim. 7 weeks miyoim havas karban ha'omer, for the day that they used to bring the karban ha'omer. Shenema, like it says in the pasuk in Parshas Emer, the Svartim lechem imachas ha-Shabbos miyoim aviyachem v'semer tenufa sheva Shabbos is 2 weeks. 7 complete weeks. You should count. V'omer, it says in another parasha, Parshas Re'eh, Shiva Shavuos Tisparlach. You should count 7 weeks. So there are 2 places the Torah discusses this mitzvah: Parashas Emer and Parashas Re'eh. V'darash Chachamim learned from these pasukim. The second parasha, Parashas Re'eh, it says Tisparlach. You should count in a singular form, lach, not lachem.
Which one?
Yachal bebezdin. I might think that who should count the bezdin. The bezdin is that's a singular form referring to the bezdin. K'bay be Yovel, when it comes to the count of the 50th year of Yovel, that the Bezdin counts, Shesayfim be Bezdin. Sheva Shabbos Hashanim, they count 7 weeks of years. Or Mekachin, the Bezdin is Mekadesh, Shnas HaChamishim Yovel. That's what I might think if I only know the pasuk in Parshas Re'eh, Tisparlach. Talmud Loimer comes to teach us the pasuk in Parshas Emer, Usfartim Lochem, plural form, Losharabim. Every single person needs to count. So it's a personal count. Every yid has to count. It's not something the Bezdin does. Every person. What is the ramifications of this? The community cannot count for you. The Shliach Tzibor cannot count for you. You're home, you say, the Shliach Tzibur is counting. No. It's not something of Chovat HaTzibur, it's Chovat HaYachid. Every person has a chiv on himself, obligation, personal obligation. Furthermore, even if you commanded to someone, he said, count for me. He made him a Shliach of his, he's my Shliach. Shluchei shel Adam k'maisei. If you didn't hear it, you can't go send the shliach to show he'll count for you. It's a mitzvah you yourself have to do. However, now we're going to have a machlokes. What happens? Can I hear the svira? So yeah, I can make a shliach. I can have the tzibur count for me. I have to count for myself. Svirat lachem, kol echad ve'echad. Chazal say. But is it enough that I hear it? We always say, Shemeya ka'oina, Shemeya ka'omer. If I hear something, I hear Kiddush. I'm yotzeh Kiddush even when I just hear the Kiddush. It's a mitzvah also to make Kiddush. I'm yotzeh by hearing. So, Sefiras HaOmer the same thing or no? It's a machlokes. If he himself heard the Sefira from his friend, if he had kavanah to be yotzeh with this hearing, and even his friend who's saying the Sefira also had kavanah to be mitzvah, and they both have to have kavanah. Someone who hears as if he said, like Kiddush and other mitzvahs. Whenever we say the klal, Shemeya ka'omer, Shemeya ka'oina, it's only when you hear from someone who's obligated in the mitzvah. But you hear for someone who's not a chiyuv, let's say a isha, we're going to see soon, it's a mitzvah seisha hazman grama. So women, they could say do the mitzvah, but they're not chayiv in the mitzvah, not obligated. If I hear a woman saying it, it's not going to help, because I have to hear from one who's mechuyev, or katan, I hear from a child. Same thing while they kiddush.
So does she get a mitzvah if she says it?
Yeah. But she can't be moitzi someone else.
And she can't say it with a bracha, or she can just
She could.
count?
She
She
could
could
say
say it
with
with a
a-
bracha.
Yeah.
Really?
We're going to learn about that very soon.
Okay.
Mitzvah Shem. In the beginning of
But
next
we
sif.
say, even if both of the way have kavanah for each other. If you're in the shul and Bal Koreh, make the Sefiras HaOmer. You have kavanah, but the Bal Koreh not have kavanah in you.
But it's enough that he's thinking about everyone. He's good. Maybe it'd be better to go to him and tell him to have kavanah for you, but because maybe today everyone is not, people are not being yotzeh with the shliach, everyone's doing it on their own.
Yeah.
But let's say Tkiyah Shofar. If you are outside the shul and you hear Tkiyah Shofar yotzeh, even though he doesn't know about you, he has kavanah for everyone when he's blowing the shofar. The chazan, the shliach tzibur is for moitzi everyone. However, the same thing as kiddush and all mitzvahs, the person has to be obligated at the same level. Both are obligated min haTorah, you moitzi each other. Both are obligated midrabanan, you yotzeh each other. Kiddush, a woman can be moitzi a man because they're both chayiv the same, woman and a man. Chayiv the same. Be'etzem they could. Be'etzem a woman could. Yesh chalk and alzeh. Some argue on this that we don't say over here the rule shemeyahu ka'omer. V'oimrim they say shetzarich shetehei svira l'chol echad ve'echad mamish. Every single person needs to actually count himself. Shekol echad yisper v'atzmei. This is a mitzvah that you yourself have to do with your physical mouth. You have to say it with your mouth. You can't say someone else says it. You have to say it on your own.
But the exception is that if you missed a day, then you need to hear it from somebody to say Amen.
The bracha, right.
Since they can't, you can't say, the person can't
bracha.
say if
The
they
bracha.
missed a
Yeah.
day.
You'll see in 1 second what you're saying. V'yishlacha shel divrayim. What's the halacha? Two opinions. So the Alter Rebbe, we should be concerned for the later opinion. L'chatchila. Sheloi lismei chal shmiyas svira me'ashliach tzibur. Not to be yotzeh l'chatchila from the shliach tzibur. If you did have kavanah, we'll say you were yotzeh. But l'chatchila, not to rely on it and say it yourself. Aval habracha, but the bracha is different. Yachol l'shmaya me'ashliach tzibur l'chatchila. Even if you know how to make a bracha, you're allowed the chatchila to rely on the shliach tzibur and listen to the bracha. 10 people that do a mitzvah together, one person can make a bracha for everyone.
But it's better everybody make his own bracha after the Baal calls.
Right.
That's the minhag.
It's like you do first Christian, you don't do it as long as that.
Right? I'll tell you when it's negeya, because let's say if someone can't say a bracha anymore, if someone missed a day, so he can't say bracha, so we'll simply just listen to the chazan, say amen to his bracha, and then count.
But my understanding was that you do have to advise the Shliach tzibur to keep you in mind. I mean that's what I've been advised. I'm not saying that because last year I missed a day.
I would think that if you want to be yotzeh the sphere itself, you should remind him. But the bracha, I think he has kavanah. People down for the Amid have to kavanah for everyone. But maybe it is better maybe to tell him. After you hear the bracha, you should right away count. Siv Beis. Noshim v'avodim p'tur mitzvah. Women and avodim are potter from this mitzvah. Pnei shuzman mitzvah say shuzman grama. It's a mitzvah say which is time bound. O mixas hamedines samo hanoshim zu aleim choyvet. The Magen Avraham, one of the Paiskim, brings down in certain countries, women have accepted upon themselves this mitzvah and obligation. Now, you had a shayla, how could they make a bracha? There's no concern of issa that they're making a bracha levatala when they're making a bracha. Even their potter, there's no chashash, and he doesn't explain the reasoning here. And he sends you to ayin sifid zayin, which is hilchas tzitzis.
That's a hibub mitzvah for the woman.
Yeah, the Maisa says we have to like this. The Gemara says there's a machlokes in Gemara who is greater, who gets bigger sechar. someone who's commanded to do a mitzvah and does the mitzvah, it's called a mitzvah v'oisa, or an einay mitzvah v'oisa. The Gemara concludes that Gadol mitzvah v'oisa. Mitzvah v'oisa.
Mitzvah?
Mitzvah. It's more. Why? Because he has the achrayut in his mind. The one who's not mitzvah, he does the mitzvah. Okay, nice, very nice, the extra thing. But you don't have to do it. The person who does it has the pressure to make sure they do the mitzvah. Has that achrayus. That oil is on that person to think about it and make sure to do it. So therefore, we say Gadol hamitzvah isi yeshem in mitzvah. But still in all, they also get schar, just not the same level schar. But they also get schar, it's also considered a mitzvah, but the schar is not as great as a mitzvah. So therefore, and not only for women, even a man who's potter from a mitzvah, and he wants to obligate himself to do a mitzvah, it gets schar, it's a mitzvah.
It's a hidu.
It's a hider, it's a nice thing, you're not mechuyev. But the women over here were mechayev themselves to say it, in these countries. Now, the two things I want to discuss. Number one, how can women say a bracha if they're not chayiv? How could they say asher kitchalim and say a vitzivanu? We are commanded, they're not commanded. How could they say the bracha? So this is an old machlokes, a machlokes rishonim between the Sfardim and the Ashkenazim. The Rambam says you're not allowed to say a bracha. If you're not chayiv in a mitzvah, even if you do the mitzvah and you're going to get schar like you're an einay mitzvah v'oisa, however, you cannot say a bracha. You can't say vitzivanu. However, the Bali Hatoisis, Rabbi Natam, the French Chachamim said no. They held that you could say the bracha. What is the meaning of Vitzivanu? Vitzivanu means Klal Yisrael. As a whole was commanded. Not we particularly weren't commanded, but Tzivanu, Klal Yisrael was commanded. L'maisa, the halach, that argument mirrors down in the Shulchan Aruch, where the Mechaber, Rabbi Yosef Kaida was a Sfardi, said, passed like the Rambam, that no, you're not allowed to make the bracha. But the Ramar and Moshe Islis Ashkenazi wrote his notes, and he wrote, no, you are allowed. And all of this in Hilchas Tzitzis, right in the beginning, about a woman who wants to wear period tzitzis. It's the first time in Shulchan Aruch the Shaila comes up, and it continues throughout Shulchan Aruch, this machlokes. And Ad Hayom Hazeh, I don't know if all by all Sfardim, but a lot of the Sfardim, women don't make a bracha when they mitzvah. They don't say. So you said they don't say?
My wife Ashkenazi said.
Okay.
I have another
essay. The best of both worlds.
I have another essay about Tzivanu. Tzivanu, Ishto Kegufo. If the man mitzvah, so Ishto can.
Okay, a good answer. And if she's not married, but yeah, a good answer. So Lamaisa, so that's why you see over here Ein Chashash Isser, because this is following the Ashkenaz Shepsak, that there's no problem. Now, another thing I want to point out here is that it says over here some countries, the Alter Rebbe quotes this from the Magen Avram. In some countries, the women made this an obligation for themselves, made a chiyuv. Question is, what does this mean? What is the meaning of these words, made an obligation? Can the women create obligations? They're going to chiyuv. How could they create a chiyuv if there is no chiyuv? When you're going to create something that doesn't exist, they're not mechuyev. So how could they make it a chiyuv? How could they make it a chiyuv? If there is no chiyuv, there's no obligation for women, then how could they create a chiyuv? So l'maisa, this is some poskim ask. However, there's a very novel answer that actually, if you look into the Rishonim, there is one of the shittas of Rishonim which is very difficult to understand. But the Ramban, Nachmanides, when he writes a list in his Pirush, in his Chidushim and Gemara Kiddushin, he makes a list of mitzvahs that are not time-bound. Ein hazman grama. One of the mitzvahs he includes in this list is Sefiras HaOmer. Big Pella.
The Ramban.
The Ramban somehow held, which is very hard, somehow held that this mitzvah is not time-bound. L'chor, it is time-bound, right? But we're going to get into that in a minute. Before we get there, the Ramban held mitzvah say she'ein hazman grama. So some poskim want to explain that since there is a shita which holds that women are chayiv, so therefore even though that shita is not the ikar halacha, the women can say we choose to follow that shita that holds that we are obligated. So it's not that they are creating from nothing. Yesh me'ayin, they're creating an obligation. No, there actually is a shita which holds that they are obligated. All they're merely doing is saying we're accepting upon ourselves the authority of that shita. So they're not creating a chiyuv, they're just accepting the Rabban shita upon themselves. That could be one way of explaining it. Maybe another simpler way of explaining it would be that it's a concept of neder. You know, if maybe a community accepts upon itself a certain standard, a certain thing, or a certain minig, even if we do a minig a few times, we say Hatar Sadar, and we say a minig that I did 3 times without saying clearly and doing it b'li neder, a good minig. So I ask Hatar Sadarim, right? So we have a lot of, if we have some people when they get older, they can't keep certain minhagim. It's hard for them if they had a minig, let's say, to stand the whole Yom Kippur, whatever the minig was, so they'll do Hatar Sadarim. But Lamaisa, maybe that's the aspect over here, that the women, they took it upon themselves, it's like a neder. So that a minig that they did, it's a minig, a nice minig, so they did this minig. So by doing it for so many times, it became a gather of a neder.
But the woman can be alone doing it, or she needs a group to do it?
She could do it herself. Yeah. Lamaisa, getting back to the Ramban, how do we actually understand the sheet of the Ramban? What is the meaning that Sefiras HaOmer should be a mitzvah say she'ein hazman grama? It's a big pella. I wonder what this Ramban means. He doesn't explain it, it's written as part of the list. There's no discussion at all. So I saw someone writing a very nice pshat, but we have to hold on to our hats for a minute. Let's start off, what does it mean time bound? We know matzah, let's say. For example, matzah is a food which I have an entire year. I can eat matzah every day of the year. Only what? The Torah tells me on the 15th of Nisan, the yotzeh the mitzvah. Not any other time. Tezvav Nisan. So it comes out, the Zman is goyim the mitzvah. Because if not for this time, I can't. Let's talk about birchas ilanis. You know, we in Nisan time is someone sees, you see a tree blossoming. This year was very hard to do, not many trees were blossoming.
Right there, he's 17.
You had over here? So there were, you can make a bracha. But
blossoming, is it blossoming, or does it have to be a blossom, or does it have to be a flower? Does it have to be, you have to see a blossom, or does it have to be a flower?
What does it mean, a blossom and a flower? Flower blossoms after the flower?
No, before.
Blossom is that little...
Right.
Yeah.
The little...
It's a big question.
You have to ask Rabbi Meraza because he's an expert in brachas.
Who, on who?
Rabbi Meraza is an expert in brachas.
Thank you.
In many years been studying brachas. And this sugi itself he knows very well. So Lamaisa, so would someone say that the bracha birchas ilanis, if women see a tree, Aga, by the way, there's no obligation to go and find this tree. It's a nice thing people do, they go to find the tree, but there's no obligation. There's no chiyuv to go look for the tree. The chiyuv is, if you see trees blossoming, then you go and make the bracha because you thank Hashem. L'maisa, are women obligated or not? If you one hand, you could say it's time bound. It's only a certain time of the year that we can do the mitzvah. Or no. We don't find any woman at Potter. Why? Is it time bound, or is it that the mitzvah is to make a bracha on the tree which is blossoming, but that tree, blossoming tree, you don't have a whole year. It's not the time bound. You don't have the actual tree.
You have a time.
You don't have the tree.
Between Pesach and a few weeks later. It's a timing. That's when the Chachamim said, in this time from Pesach.
Let's give example. Another example. Kiddush Levana. Most poskim, all poskim hold, Kiddush Levana is a mitzvah shazman grama. Women are pater. The women are not even supposed to be mahadar to do it for other reasons, because it has to do with the chet tzadas, there's connections with the fact that Levana became smaller, the mita Levana, so women are not supposed to do it. That's why women don't do it. But the fact that women are pater from it is because it's mitzvah shazman grama. Pashtus, it's time, right? However, there is one of the achronim, Reb Shlomo Kluger, who he held, no, it's a mitzvah she'ein hazman grama. He has a very novel explanation. His explanation is, what's the halacha? When do we make Kiddush Levana? Birchas HaLevana. When do we make the bracha de Levana? We make it, the Gemara says, Haraya Levana b'chidusha. When you see the birth of the new moon. Now, api halacha, you're supposed to wait 3 days at least from the birth of the new moon, because then it's a little bigger and it's more mahudr. So Pi Halach, you're supposed to wait 3 days. Al Pi Kabbalah, we wait 7 days. It's a Kabbalah thing. But the concept is that you make a bracha, you're making a bracha on the birth of the new moon. You can make it until the 15th day of the month. Afterwards, the moon starts to grow smaller in our eyesight, so therefore we can't, there's no more new moon. Adarabah, so they're going away. So therefore we can't make the bracha anymore. So now, he looked at it and said, is this a time-bound mitzvah? No, he said. Pshat is, you're only supposed to make the bracha when you have a new moon. I don't have a new moon all the entire month, second half of the month. It's pshat is it's time bound, or pshat is I don't have the object with what to do the mitzvah with. The object of the levana b'chidusha doesn't exist the whole month. It's not here. Matzah, I have matzah whole year. I can have the same exact matzah I have on Pesach. I have it all year. The Torah gave me a specific date in the month when to do the mitzvah. Kiddush Shavan is not like that. It's not pshat I could essentially do it a whole year. It's just that Chazal told us the Torah tells only to do it in certain times of the year. No. I can't do it all year because I don't have the Levana B'chidusha a whole month. The Levana B'chidusha is only here half of the month. So therefore he said it's not a mitzvah as man grama. Similar thing, some people want to explain it to Ramban when he said it's a mitzvah seisha ein as man grama Sefiras HaOmer, which is not the halacha, but seisha ein as man grama is because Sefiras HaOmer is what? To count. What is the mitzvah by Sefiras HaOmer? To count days. So what's the object of the mitzvah? It's always the object of the mitzvah.
The days.
The day. Just like the matzah is the object, the levana is the object that you do the mitzvah with, the days are the days you do the mitzvah with. These days between Pesach and Shavuos, do you have them a whole year long?
No.
You don't have them a whole year. You can only count after Pesach and Shavuos, not because Torah tells us only these dates. You don't have these days to count the whole year. You're missing the chayfetz of the mitzvah. The object of the mitzvah is not here. I'll call upon him. That's a certain oif, and maybe we can understand the Ramban. But it's not the halacha. The halacha is it's considered mitzvah seisha ein hazman grama. I'm just bringing this in to explain why some poskim are bothered to the fact how could the women create Sefiras HaOmer as a chiyuv upon themselves. But if we learn that if they're following the sheet of the Ramban that they are chayiv, then it will make them.
Would the Rambam say about it?
Everyone says the mitzvah seisha hazman grama. Everyone. This Ramban is very difficult to understand. So das Yochid. Das Yochid Mamish. Now, we're in middle Sif Beis by the word of mitzvah zu. Mitzvah zu, this mitzvah, neheges, ba'aretz b'chutz la'aretz. It's in Eretz Yisrael and in Chutz la'aretz. Some mitzvah only in Eretz Yisrael. To let you know, it's also in Chutz la'aretz. B'fnei habayis, in the times of the Beis HaMikdash, shaloi b'fnei habayis, well, there's no Beis HaMikdash. According to this, until now we're reading is a sheet of the Rambam. The Rambam held that Sefiras HaOmer today's days is min ha-Torah. Because even Shaloi b'fnei habayis, you have no more Korban Omer. No, Korban Omer, even if there's no Korban Omer, Sefiras HaOmer is an independent mitzvah, and you continue counting min ha-Torah. However, says the Alter Rebbe, v'yesh Omrim, others say, shebezman hazeh she'ein Beis HaMikdash kayom, there's no Beis HaMikdash. Tapa page Tav Chav Zayin. Ve'ei makriv Omer. We no longer bring the Korban Omer. Ei mitzvah nehages klal midivrei Torah. This mitzvah is no longer customary min Torah. Ala midivrei Seif and midrabanan. What's the reasons why Chacham would tell us to do this mitzvah? Shetiknu zeichel hamikdash is atakana to remember what was done in the times of the Beis HaMikdash.
Memories. All this takana is memories.
Right. Now what's the ikar halacha? V'chein ikar. The Ikar Halach is like the second opinion. The majority opinion holds, Roiv Rishonim hold that it's Midrabanan today. So the Halach is not like the Rambam in this case. Mikol Makim still in all, Kol Masha Tiknu Chachamim Ke'ein Shal Torah Tiknu. Tiknu Ke'ein Shal Torah. So the Takanas Chacham was to do the mitzvah the same way. For example, in the Gemara itself, there's a shita that since it's only a Zeichel Mikdash, we shouldn't have to do the whole sphere the way it was done in the times of the Beis HaMikdash. It's only a Zeichel HaMikdash. So you know what? Do the first just do the days. Don't do the weeks. No need to count weeks, because only a Zeichel HaMikdash. So here the Alter Rebbe brings out that the halacha is not like that shita. Kol mashtikne chachamim ke'ish to'etikne, you have to do the same, because another Pina Gemara, which is the same. V'imchilu b'neim al dvarim shizbar.
I need to listen.
The difference between whether it's the Rabban and the Raisa is only, will be explained later in a few differences, because when it comes to doubt, whenever you have a suffix, the rule is suffix min ha-Torah l'chomis,
Yes.
the Rabban l'kula. So there we can get into issues of differences. But the chatchilatic way of doing the mitzvah is the same exact way, the way it was done in the Torah, same, the Chazal said to the same way. Yeah, clear?
So why we have all this homework
everything.
if it's only to remember, only memories? We don't have korbanot now.
Understand.
So why we have such a
Yes,
homework?
understand. Yes, understand.
Could make
understand.
kulo.
Okay.
It's a good question.
So now the lesson. Hey, I will come. And now the lesson, I will call you and come.
So Lamaisa, it's a good question. We have to know that
Okay, thank you.
these things that are deep reasons why we're doing it. It's not just the outer reason is just to be a Zeichel HaMikdash, but there's reasons al pi hasoid, al pi Kabbalah, why we do things. When we do a mitzvah, we are drawing a certain hamshacha. We are causing a certain oil to come down. There are certain things that we accomplish by the mitzvahs. Different Sarim discuss why now there's more chumras. Every generation, what goes on,
It's ma'atu adorot. That's why.
because of that, because of the Lidas Hadoiris, so there's more siyagin, more things. We need more things to hold on to hold on to connect to Hashem.
Mashiach came, but HaMikdash will be Kayam. We will not make Sefiras HaOmer. We have the korbanot.
But you have to bring the Sfira also then. You have to do Sfira, just like in the Beit HaMikdash we did the Sfira. Sfartem lechem imachas HaShabbos, miyoyim haviyachem v'soyim ha'trufa. Sure, then it will be min ha'Torah. There's a big shaila. What happened to Mashiach will come? Will the Sefiras HaOmer be min ha'Torah? Because we didn't bring the Karban HaOmer this year.
Now we bring,
So what happens now? Mashiach will come. Will the continuation be min ha'Torah or not?
that's a good question.
Mechlal is another discussion. What happened to a child who becomes bar mitzvah middle Sefiras HaOmer, right? Many people, you became a cotton, you became bar mitzvah in Sefiras HaOmer. So do you count? Can you count with a bracha when you become bar mitzvah? Until now, you were counting as a cotton. You know, so can you continue counting? The pile, the minig is that we do continue counting with the bracha, but it's a big discussion in the Paiskim, because how does what you did as a minor, as a cotton, help for what you to continue counting as a gadol? You're missing days. But it's a discussion for later on in the simon. Okay, Sif Gimel. Now we're going to fine tune when exactly do we have to count the Sefiras HaOmer. What's the timing of the counting? Zman hakrovas ha'omer u'b'tez zayin b'nissen. The zman of bringing the omer was on tez zayin nissen. Shenemar mimachras hashabos yinifenu v'goymer. The day after Yom Tif, machras hashabos. Shabbos over here refers, Chazal explained, refers to Yom Tif. Kibelu chachamim. Chachamim have a tradition. Shezeh mimachras Yom Tif v'rishon shel Pesach. This is the day, the morrow, the day after the first day of Pesach. Now, we know you can count afterwards. How do we know the count of that day itself? Maybe it's the next day.
Mimachorat is the next day.
I'm not sure. It's a good question. I don't have the answer for that. You'll think about it. Because the Alter Rebbe is going to say from a different pasuk. From this very day itself, we start to count. From the next day. Where does he know it from? From when the chermesh, the sickle, hits the stalk, you should start to count. Here you learn, when is the time of the sphere? When you start to cut. The Sefiras HaOmer. You cut the Omer. The Ketzira is before the bringing, not afterwards. Right? You cut before you bring the Omer. You have to cut all the barley before it's brought to the Mizbeach.
But this pasuk come after Memacharat Pesach.
Yeah.
First come Macharat Pesach, then it said Me'achel Chamesh Bakama. So according to that, you know it's Macharat Pesach.
Why do you need that? Why don't we just? Why isn't enough the first pasuk? Shabbos. I'm not sure. I don't know. You have another pasuk. I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why we don't say we could learn from the other pasuk. To look up the Gemara it's based on. Okay, so now you know you have to count from the day itself. You can't actually start by daytime. It needs to be complete 49 days, 7 weeks. You don't find complete when you start counting the evening, otherwise you're missing a day. It's not 49 days. Not complete days, 48 and a half. You have to at least count when it's night before it turns morning on that night of Tazayin. Now, there you know the first night of Sfira. The first night of Sfira we know needs to be the night because it's Tamimis, Tiana. But how do I know every night of Sfira needs to be from the night? Every night during the week. Maybe then it could be the day.
You know, Sfaradim has a minhag. In the morning, they said the Sfira of last night.
Right.
By Ashrei, they said, without Baracha. Just to say, Hayom, Yom...
When? Before Baruch Shamer?
No, after Baruch Shamer.
After Shmona Esrei.
After Shmona Esrei.
Right. I think some people say before Baruch Shamer, no?
No,
I've never seen that.
Huh?
I've seen it. A lot of shows announce it after Elena, just in case somebody forgot.
Right, a good thing. It's a good minute.
Before Baruch Shammah, I never heard. But I know where they're saying, before they said Uva Letzion, before Ashrei, they said, Hayom, Yom.
זאת אומרת הספירה של הלילה.
כן, מאתמול בלילה.
של הלילה, יש שתי לילות
Full
כאילו.
day of bigger trouble.
נגיד היום, יום שני, אתה לא אומר את הספירה של יום...
היום ספרנו בלילה, מחר בתפילה בשחרית.
אתה אומר את הספירה שאמרת היום בלילה.
כן.
אוקיי.
בלי ספירה,
כן.
בלי שם
בלי
מלכות.
ברכה.
Very good thing. We'll see in a minute why we do this. Why people do this. So be'etzim from the pasuk itself, we don't have a reason really to count every day by night. But in order to figure out the timing of the Sfira, we're going to follow like the first night. Just like the first night, in order for the mitzvah, in order for Sfira to be complete, to mimot, you need to have the first night count from the first night. So to every night, Hu hadin Sfira Shahayamim Sheina El Balayla Shemin Hastam Sfira Koyim and Shalom. It's probably the counting of every day is equal. Now, when during the night should you count? Chol Halayla Kosher LaSfiras HaOmer. Shim Shochach V'lei Sofer V'tchilas Halayla V'nizker Koydim She'ol Amad HaShacher Chayiv Lisper. If you forgot, it did not count in the beginning of the night, and you count before dawn, Amud HaShachar, you're chayev to count.
But from Tzeta Kochavim?
You forgot.
No. When first time you want to make the bracha, Tzeta Kochavim is the first.
You and
Did
you
the
could,
night?
yeah.
Yeah.
Have a lachatchila, right here he says it. Lachatchila mitzvah muvchar. The best way to do the mitzvah is lisper b'tchilas halayla miyad achar tfilas arvis.
That's a minute. Everybody does something.
Right. The Shulchan Aruch tells us the background for everything we do. It's the background of why we do it. Yeah. Before you count at night, so you have to make a bracha. Kederech shemevarchin akol hamitzvahs. Just like you make on all mitzvahs, whether it's minat Torah, so the Rabbanim make a bracha. Abel Mashachar lispa b'layla, for forgot to count by night. V'nisker b'yoyim, count by day. Yisper b'lay bracha. You should count by day without a bracha. Why without a bracha? Because there is a machlokes about Sefiras HaOmer. The Torah tells us when should you count the Sefira? Mehachel chermesh bakama. When is the Sefiras HaOmer? By night or by day? Everyone agrees that they used to cut by night. The question is, if they forgot, they weren't able to cut by night for a certain reason, they cut it by day. Is it kosher or not? One opinion says it is kosher to cut the omer by day, and the other one said not. Only by night. So you lost the mitzvah, you can't bring the carbon omer. So according to the one who says you're allowed to count by day, cut by day, you're also allowed to count by day. B'diavad. But according to the one who says you're only allowed to cut, the Sefiras HaOmer was by night, you're only allowed to also count by night, because mehalcha chemesh by kama tachalisper. So counting by day is not a mitzvah. So you lost the mitzvah. So we have here a suffix because it's a machlokes, who the halach is like. And when it comes to brachas, we don't say a bracha if we're in doubt. When in doubt, do without. If we don't know for sure we should say the bracha, we don't say the bracha. Suffix brachas lahakil, because we don't say Shem Hashem since there is a shita which holds that you're not yotzeh by day.
But you continue the brachot, the whole.
That we'll see soon.
Without bracha.
No, regarding the next night, he could continue counting with a bracha. If you remember.
Continue.
But the day itself, you cannot count with a bracha.
אתה יכול להגיד ברכה מצאת הכוכבים עד הנץ.
The whole night.
כן, עד הנץ. בנץ? כן, כן.
עד עליס השחר.
עליית השחר. לא, זה נץ, לא בערב.
לא, זה...
שעה אחרי. נץ.
כן.
בערב שעה.
שחר, לספר בלילה, נסק ביים נספר בלי ברכה. לפי, why? שישאימים שמלוי נקסה בהם בלילה, קייסים נספר ביים. One shita holds that if you forgot to cut the omer by night, you can cut it by day. The fichim shachar is that if someone made a mistake or he did it on purpose, will he suffer but I did not count at night? Chayiv lispa b'yayim olavarach. He's chayiv to count by day and to make a bracha according to that opinion because he yotzeh. But yishcholken azeh. Others argue and they hold that no, you're not allowed to cut the omer by day. So you're not allowed to make a bracha. You're not allowed to count. The ficha, therefore, yisper, you should make count, but below bracha, shesafi bracha slahaka. But again, the next night, you're allowed to continue if you count remembered by day. The reason for this is going to be explained later. What's the reasoning behind this? Later on in the simon. But by day, you can never count with a bracha every day. Because of this reason, because of this machlokes. Siv Dalet. Hasvire tzarech levarech ma'umet. Person should say Sfira standing. Shanema ba'kama. The pasuk says ba'kama regarding Sfira al darshu chachamim. Chacham or doidish al tikri ba'kama. Don't read it. There's no nekudas in the Torah. Don't read it with a comma. It's ba'kama. Read it with a choilam ba'koima. Tachel whisper. Standing up, you should count the Sefira. Mikol Makim Imana Miyushev Yotzeh. Still know if you count it sitting your yotzeh, Shitarash Shazu Ein Ela Smachta Ba'alma. Really, it's only Midrabanan to count standing. Chazal found a Makim in the Torah for a hint for this. A smachta, it's called a leaning, a smicha. There was soymech on this pasuk. But reality is midrabanan, and therefore you're still yotzeh. Sif hey. Mina Torah tzarech limis hayamim v'gam hashuos. You need to count days and weeks. Shenemar tispru chamishim yoim. Should count 50 days. Kiloimer ad chamishim, up until 50. But Oimer also says in another pasuk in Parashas Re'eh, Shiva Shavuos Tisper Lach Ketzah. They should count weeks. So do I count days or they count weeks? Ketzad Yisper. How should one count Shneim? Both of them. How do you do both? Mishamagia L'Shiva Yamim. Now we're going to see the next sif. Here in the next sif, we have a discussion. How should one count Shavuos and Yamim? How should this be done?
The first 7 days only need days. When it comes Shavua, you
so
continue
Shemagia L'Shiva Yamim, when it comes to 7 days, Yoimer HaYoim Shiva Yamim. Shem Shavua Echa. Shemagia L'Yoim Ba'asar Yoimer the 14th Yoimer HaYoim Ba'asar Shem Shnei Shavuos. Chem B'Shar Kol Seif Shua V'Shua. This is what you should do. Even Manat in the times when it was Manat Torah, it wouldn't have been yotzeh. Now, this is one thing for sure. One thing you cannot get away with is that weekends have to be counted when it comes to Shavuot. Question is, what about all the days in between the weeks? Right? The 8th day. Do I have to count? Do I have to say Hayom Shmini Yamim v'Shavua Echad v'Yom Echad, or no? Hayom Shmini Yamim finished, because there's no full week. So do I only need to count on the Seifei Shavuos in the ending of the weeks, or also in the middle? So in Sif Hey, he told us clearly, if you don't count the weekends, you're for sure not yotzeh, according to all opinions. If you want to count 7 weeks, you got to count weeks. So I have now 1 week, I have a 2nd week, I have a 3rd week. You have to count the weeks. But the days in between the weeks, do you also have to mention that it's that the amount of weeks or not? This is a machlekes. Sivav. Alo b'yamim shebein kol shua v'shua, the days in between. Dahainu, this means from Yom Ches, from the 8th day ad the Gimel to the 13th, v'ad b'chal, including the 13th. 14th is already the ending of a week. And same thing, Yom Tesvav on the 15th day ad Yom Es until the 20th. V'chein hayamim b'shvein shar shus, and the days regarding all the rest of the weeks of Sefiras HaOmer. Yesh oimrim, some say shein tzarich l'minis han shvois ela hayamim. You don't need to count weeks, only days. Gim b'yoyim ches yoimer hayoyim shmein hayamim. That's it. V'ein tzarich l'omer shehem shvua echad v'yom echad. Because it's not the ending of the week. Why should we count in weeks in the middle of the week?
But it's not our minhag.
No.
It's not good.
No. The Shemim, the second opinion holds lahafich. There's actually 3 opinions. Second opinion says they're just the opposite. You don't need to. The way how you count days during the weeks is by counting it like this. You don't say Hayom Shmini Yom during the week. You say Hayom Shavua Echad v'Yom Echad. B'Yom Ches Yomer Hayom Shavua Echad v'Yom Echad. Or B'Yom Tezvav on the 15th. Yomer Hayoim Beis Shavuos Yom Echad. 2 weeks and 1 day.
Anyone do that?
I don't think anyone does this.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. You'll see soon. We do like the third. Everyone does like the third opinion. Yesh Oimrim. Some say Shetzarich Loimer, that one needs to say Bahem in the middle weekdays Chomayamim Vashos, both the days and the weeks. Can be Yom Ches on 8th day, Yomer Shmoyne Yamim Shem Shua Echad. Yom Echad. V'chein b'shar kol hayamim tzarich loimer schum kol hayamim v'ashvuos u'minyan hayam ha'oitum al shvuah, the extra days over the weeks. V'chein nispashat ha'minig b'chol Yisrael. This became the minig amongst all of Klal Yisrael. He says, Ve'ein l'shanat, you should not change this meaning, the way we do it. But you see that in halacha there is actually 3 opinions how it should be done.
Okay.
One thing it's very clear, like he said in Sifhei, that min ha-toira you're for sure not yotzeh if you don't do the ending of the weeks. Hayoim shvua echad.
Yomer.
By the way, I just want to tell you something interesting which is not mentioned in the Okay, we'll take a look. Let's finish the sif, we'll go to Ma'ariv. Mikol Mokim. Im tov u'monam ba'achas days asfilis harishonis. If someone made a mistake and he counted like any of the first 2 opinions, but Yom Hashem Shuas in the days that are in the middle of the weeks, he did not do like the minig is that we count both days and weeks during the week. Does not need to go back and recount Shasfida b'divrei soifrim. Today's day Sfida is midrabanan. Ba'api Yom Hashem Soifer Shvuos. Even the days which are at the ending of the weeks. We're going Yom Zayin Yudalit, which are the weekends. You counted only days, but the Hiska Shavuos is klal. Didn't have mentioned weeks at all. Some say Shin Tzol Lazo Lisbeth Manazeh Shasvin El Zeicher. There is a sheet in Gemara. Ameimar Menachos says that since it's only Zeicher LeMikdash, the Sfira today. Even if you just counted Yomim, your yotzeh. Even you ignored Shavuos at all, even at the ending of the weeks, you did not count Shavuot, it would still be yotzeh. So, if someone did that, he doesn't have to recount. There's no chiyuv to recount, and even if he does recount, he can't say with a bracha, because there's a certain opinions that he was yotzeh.
But I think that that's why we avoid saying that before.
Right.
We avoid saying the date because of what you just said.
One thing he does say over here, Abel Msafar Shuiz Levad. What happens the opposite? He didn't count days, he only counted weeks. In the ending of the weekends, he said, in the ending of the second week, he said, Hayoim Shnei Shavuos. And this is the way he goes through the whole Sefiras HaOmer. He didn't count the in-between days at all. So Lachzav needs to go back and count again.
Shortcut he's taking.
Trying to do a big shortcut. She'ikir Hasfira Minyan Hayamim. This year, what would it mean? This year is every Matzah Shabbos. Every Matzah Shabbos, he counts only a Matzah Shabbos. Just counts the weekends. So l'chora you would think maybe he's yotzeh because he only did Shavuos. He didn't do Hayamim, but he did all the Shavuos. He says no. She'ikir Hasfira Hu Minyan Hayamim. The main sphere is counting days. Shebeminyan Hayamim Bilvad Yichoyel Lisper Kolam Tes Yoim. With counting days itself is the only way to count 49 days with days. Weeks can only give you the weekends. You can't count weeks with days, without days. Minyan Hashu is Bilvad. You can only count the weekends, but that's not called Sefiras HaOmer.
When it says Shiva Temimot, it's mean 4, right?
Yeah.
A Tamim is mean 4.
Yeah. Even if you count only the days, so we said earlier, if someone by accident only counted days, you don't have to recount, because the shita holds a yotzeh. There's another sheet that says no, you have to punct the way it was in Torah, we count days and weeks. So you only count the days, you're not yotzeh. And we should be concerned for this opinion. Lachzer v'lisper bracha, to recount without a bracha. Maisa, we should count both the yomim and the shuas, just like we do. If you make any mistakes, you have to look inside and see what the din is. It's all based on a Gemara Menachos, Daf Samach Vav, this whole thing.